Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show's 35-year-old Pennsylvania resident Philip Vogel traveled to D.C. with his fiancée Deborah Moyne, and they were seen illegally entering the Capitol through the Senate wing doors just 13 minutes after the initial breach of the building. They walked past and over broken glass. There were alarms blaring as they entered, so they knew they weren't supposed to be in there, but they headed to the Capitol crypt. And Vogel was recording the confrontation between the mob and the police. And at one point, his fiancée pulled her mask down to say, quote, "It's amazing." So Vogel scolded her and he said, quote, "Put your mask on. I don't want them to see you." From there, Vogel and his fiancée traveled to the second story of the building. They stood by watching and they were recording as the mob was attacking and assaulting police officers. The officers were guarding an exterior rotunda door. Then after leaving that area, they walked to the third floor of the building and they walked toward the Senate, and Vogel was seen on video. He was kicking a Senate office door. So he didn't break it, but he did kick it. And Vogel was then seen stealing a $260 gas mask that belonged to the Capitol Police. Then he and his fiancée were seen on video entering the Senate gallery. And while they were inside the Senate gallery, they stole another item. They found a duffel bag that contained a chemical escape hood, which obviously belonged to the U.S. senators. So all total, that item was worth around $300. They left the Senate not too long after that, and then Vogel and his fiancée were seen on video again. They found a bag that was marked police, and they started rifling through that bag. And in the bag, Vogel's fiancée found another escape hood, so she took that item. So at this point, they'd stolen nearly $1,000 worth of items. They must have been done shopping for the day because they exited the Capitol after that. On January 13th, Vogel responded to a Facebook post. It was critical of the January 6th attack. And in his reply, Vogel wrote in part, quote, "You're advocating for them censoring a president that said to peacefully protest a fraudulent election? Get the fuck out of here. You and many others better pray they get their shit together. If they don't, you'll live to see the next revolution." In another post, he called for the immediate removal of Nancy Pelosi. And then in a third post that same day, he wrote in almost all caps, quote, "How many leaders told the American people they must fight to keep their freedom? Look it up, you fucking fools." Vogel appeared to try to distance himself from all of the illegal activity on January 6th because on January 14th, he wrote on Facebook, quote, "Remember the people that allowed this bullshit election to go through were in there that day. They are tyrants. These people took a stand against tyrants, no matter where or who they were." So these people, quote unquote, took a stand, not him. Right? So Vogel was arrested on March 19th of 2021, and he was charged with theft of government property, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In June of 2023, Vogel pleaded guilty to the theft charge, so he was facing up to 1 year in prison, 1 year of probation, and $100,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 5 months in prison, 1 year of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $1,806 in restitution. Part of the restitution fee was for the stolen items, and then the rest was just the standard restitution for the damage to the Capitol. You guys aren't going to be surprised to hear Vogel has a criminal history, and it involves theft. In 2012, Vogel was convicted of theft by unlawful taking and one other related charge, they say. That same year, Vogel was convicted for accessing a device issued to another who did not authorize use. In 2013, Vogel was convicted of receiving stolen property. And in 2015, Vogel took a plea deal for a retail theft charge. Just sticky fingers here. According to the prosecutor in the January 6 case, Vogel, for all of these incidents, or I guess the last one at least, he was placed on a diversion program and something called an intermediate punishment program. But they say he just failed to complete the programs. He just didn't do it. So he ended up in jail for his last felony conviction, I guess. And in this case, U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss presided over the proceedings. I can't believe that this guy was handed another do-over, but I'm just giving you a spoiler alert, he was. I couldn't locate any details about what the judge may have said at the sentencing hearing to justify this pathetically weak decision, but Vogel was sentenced to only 30 days in prison, 1 year of probation, and the $1,806 in restitution. And then we wonder why there are so many repeat offenders in this country. You know, as I said with Vogel's fiance and her case, Judge Moss should be ashamed of himself. And Vogel's fiance should run. She should run as far and as fast away from this guy as possible. So if I hear any more, I will let you know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.